Alright guys, here's the first guide to this series. It's going to be on Abyssal Sire. If you don't know how to get here, the code will be DIP. Have a Drayman staff with you. Unless you have the Lumbridge Elite Diaries done, you will not need one. And to go over basic gear setups, I'm just going to put the wiki in the description, and we'll be doing a few examples here of different setups you can do. So obviously, Slayer mask must have. You're on task. There's no point to not be wearing one. And I'm gonna do a kill example with like the lowest you can do, and obviously you can upgrade it. Fang is honestly gonna be worthwhile to get if you're gonna plan on sitting here for a while. But Slayer helm, if you don't have any of the things on the first row, just -1, -1. Just move over until you find your right setup. If you don't have a Fang, it's no problem. There's other melee weapons. You can do Arc Light with a Vernic. That's how I've done most of mine. Because I didn't have a Scythe, and seems to be the best thing to really kill it. But obviously you're using a lot of shards that you take a while to get, which can be a little annoying. And usually you're doing 1 kill trips here and then resetting, so just a Berserker Ring's fine, or even Suffering. Lightbearer, if you're like gonna do multiple kills per trip, you can just look at this. You could do Slayer Helm, Fighter Torso, Obby Legs. Obviously, you probably have better than Rune Defender, but a Vernic. And pretty much if you don't have anything in the first row, just -1, -1, just get to the next one until you got your full gear set up. I know you guys might not have exactly what I'll show you. And then range, I would only recommend this if you have a T-bow. Honestly, I like this method. It's nice, but it's not worth doing unless you have a T-bow, in my opinion, or maybe Bowfa. I haven't really done that, but T-bow is very nice here. But blowpipe is not gonna be it. And for the beginning of the fight, you can either choose to do magic or range. You will need to bring a switch. I prefer to do range with a Bowfa or a blowpipe is how I did most of mine. And you can even do Mage. Trident's good for this if you have that. And like a little bit of a switch for your Mage setup. But the following clips will be examples of different setups. I'm going to link it down below on what the setups are, and hopefully that will help you. And we'll do some kill examples, and then we're going to spin the wheel for the next boss at the end of the video. So stay tuned for that, and let me know what you guys think down below of the examples, and I'm going to talk through those as well and give a demonstration and talk through the kill so you guys understand how to do it. Alright, next clip you guys will see how to kill the boss. Almost forgot to include this part, but for recommended stats, I would recommend you have, depending on what method you choose to go with, I would say base 80 or 75 for combat stats is good. And for range, I would honestly only be doing range if you either have a T-bow or a Bowfa. It's not exactly the best, but I think Arc Light is the way to go for this whole thing, if that's what you can afford, which is free if you do quests. So prayer doesn't really matter too much. Mage, if you're gonna choose to go that method with the vents, I would at least have like enough to hold a trident, which is pretty good. And for difficulty on this boss, we're gonna give it a 2 out of 5. It's not the hardest, but it's not the easiest to learn, and you definitely might die learning this. And yeah, that's pretty much wraps up like the intro for this boss. Definitely an interesting boss. Once you have teleported to this area, any of these layers on the map, you can follow any of them and get to a different boss. There's 4 different locations, so I like to always go to the side. And once you get over here, the objective of the fight is you have to have Shadow Barrage, and we have to kill all 4 of these vents. There's already a guy here, but Shadow Barrage is must have. You don't need any switch for that, but 1, 2, 3, 4, you pretty much will just Shadow barrage him like this. You must do this for every single kill. Yeah, the shadow is very broken here. You can bring a heart too if you have one. And you get a little timer to see how long he's knocked out for. Around 3 seconds, it'll wake up, so just hit it before then, because it'll kind of glitch out a little bit. Alright. These tiles are a little important, and just the ones that got me by to understand how it works. So we pray melee at the start. He can spawn these little guys, he'll do a whip attack like that. It hurts a lot. No avoiding that at all. And once he's at 200, he'll walk to the middle. I like to stand behind it. Some people go in front. Make sure you switch to range prayer. And you're going to keep moving 2 tiles every time you see that under your feet. There's like a certain rhythm you'll get into. When he teleports you in front of him, step away, then spam click him. If you stand in the way, he will do lots of damage to you. Usually just one attack and move to the next tile. And the puddle will always spawn under you. And yeah, kills just like that. I honestly don't bring food because I just will reset to the house. Usually I never get too hurt. You can blood barrage those spawns at the end if you end up getting really damaged. But that's an example with max gear, and the following clips will just be examples with other gear. And we'll do a budget setup for melee as well. Alright, we'll get those clips going right after this. Alright, for the budget setup, this is what I decided to wear. Even got a Dragon Defender just for this. Setup looks like this. You can always use someone else's house too if you end up wanting to use house tabs, that's fine. Always have all these runes and air runes outside the pouch. I think you can do it otherwise with Shadow Barrage only. I like to bring blood just in case, but this is as low as I think I'm gonna go for this guide because I don't think you come here with worse gear than this. Hopefully not. I'm sure you can make it work with worse than this, but if we're start of the kill, we're gonna Shadow Barrage it, get into our range gear. Once these things calm down, we're just gonna click on the tentacle. I'll even use Eagle Eye in case you guys don't have it. So we can get one vent here. Let me go to the next one. You don't need stams, but they do help if you want to try to get another kill on the trip. So that vent is out. And I'm gonna hit him again. Last 2. Once you get all 4, it'll end up waking up. And these will stay knocked out. Like if I left, it'll still be just this last one remaining. It's weird how it works. So we get melee gear back on. Make sure we super combat. If you have arc light too, you can use the special attack. Now for all your men, this might be helpful. Always melee prayer at the start. Stump 2 specs on the guy. Be ready to always move 2 tiles because he can do the poison under your feet. Once he's at 200, we'll move over here. Yep, see, that's poison. I'm gonna eat up and show you what happens if you don't run away on the teleport. It's gonna hurt, but... well, so then you gotta wait till you can actually click him there. That's why we bring the antidote. We'll just move back and forth. He teleports me. Let's say I don't move. He's gonna hit me big. Just like that. You do not want to stand still. Always spam that tile. I click past these guys because you might misclick them. You want to be praying range here too. But yeah. Those little guys will stack you out. Yeah, pretty simple kill. The fight took 2 minutes with my max gear. Like, it's not too much of a difference, and sometimes if you get a food supply like that, you can just keep going. We'll actually do one more kill with this setup, just so you guys can see. Alright. Get the range gear on. Arc light's free, that's why I think you should definitely have that if you're coming here. It's worthwhile. It'll do lots of damage. Free item. Takes charges, but it's a very good item. Alright, and sometimes you can squeeze in some damage before next one. If you don't have blowpipe, crystal bow. Always like look at the downgrade chart I showed earlier. I'll link it down below. But there's always something else you can use if this isn't working. Alright, perfect. The melee gear back on. I even got the fire cape for this one too, so we made it perfect. Like to click him right there. I have these tiles marked just so I can, if he poisons this one, I go to this one. I like to stand behind him so there's no poison when he teleports me. Whatever you guys prefer is how you'll do it, but after doing so many, I think I'll show you the way I do it. I prefer it a lot more than some other guides will show. So we'll stand right here on this tile. We'll start praying range once he goes to the middle. I'll click him and then click to the side. You gotta be, they're a 3x3, those tiles, so you gotta be clear of that. When he teleports, spam, and spam click him. You can even do like a little movement like that if you want to, so you don't misclick. Now we just watch your HP, they can do a lot, so there we go. That's gonna be all for the melee budget. I might do a range budget as well, but I'm gonna show max range with T-bow, and then I can do a Bowfa kill example. I'm not sure if people use Bowfa, but it'll be included. Alright, next clip will be another setup. Alright, so here we are with range. This is the setup I'm doing. Very budget. I'm sure you guys will probably have better if you're doing Bowfa, but I have not done Bowfa yet, but we'll see how this goes. It's really good for the beginning phase here. For these vents. Make sure you pot up too. You do kill these things very quick. Usually after the third one, I'll do this. Alright, perfect. With range, it's going to be a little different since when you click him, you're not going to move towards him. So you'll have to make sure you're always moving on a separate tile. Yeah, those whip attacks are unavoidable. You're always going to eat around a 20 to 30. If you're not praying, it can be like a 60 or 70, like very high. So always be melee at this point. Once it's 50% or 200 HP, pray range for the rest of the fight. Standing behind is always nice. And then once we get teleported, we'll move away. Get one hit in here. Move away from the poison. One hit, move. One hit, move. Alright, he's teleporting us. Move away. Always just 2 tiles away every time. Make sure you eat. In case you're hurt, blood barrage. Just gonna eat. That was a bit rough at the end, but that's an example with the Bowfa. The next clip will be with T-Bow, and we'll wrap it up after that. Alright, this is the max range setup I like to do. This is my preferable one to do. I haven't really got in here with a Fang, but this is what I would do before the Fang. And this is the setup I like to come with. Just some extra food. Usually less food for me, but this is good. Shadow is the best thing for vents if you decide to do that, but this is a little more relaxed. So we're just gonna start with the Shadow Barrage. We can Bowfa from pretty far. Make sure that drops down before you attack it. Or you get whipped like I just did. Yeah, Bowfa just has super far range, but we'll blowpipe the last two. In case you guys don't have that. For Shadow, usually it's gonna be 2 Shadow Barrages no matter what. Unless you have Shadow, you can get lucky. Alright. I like the ZCB spec. If you have it, use it. It's good. Pray melee, always. Combat it up. It's range potted. Pick him up. Yep, just like that. Always 88 when he's max health. Unless you miss. Already below 200 in like few shots. I like to stand under him sometimes like this. And then spam click him. It'll move you 2 tiles away like that. Even with melee it works. Teleports me. I'm just gonna move 2 tiles, spam click. Move 2. XP. Move. Move. Oh, move too early there. Get ready to eat just in case. Good. Alright, just like that. I think that's not accurate, but I think T-Bow is probably going to be the most comfortable thing to do here. But obviously Arclight's really good. Melee's very good, like max melee. And it's not too bad of a boss to farm. It is probably the most lengthy one to farm because of the prep, but it is a pretty decent boss. A lot of different ways you could do it. Changing it up keeps it interesting at least. But that's all for the setups, and I'll show you the collection log here as well. Just so you guys can see where we're at. Not my favorite thing. We're gonna get the pet soon. I know it's happening. But yeah. Hopefully this guide helped you guys, and we got the wheel to spin in the next clip, so we'll see what we're doing next week. Alright, now for the wheel. So the Sire guide, we have all the kills for that, so next week hopefully doing something different. Make sure I get Sire taken out of here. Abyssal Sire. Alright, that's 1 down, so let's see what we get next. Ooh, that's a pretty good one. Oh, Giant Mole. Alright, that one's not too bad. I thought it was Dead Kinks. Alright. So next week's guide is going to be on the Giant Mole. That one's a pretty good one for beginners, so. Alright, I would rate this boss on a scale 1 to 5. I would give it a solid, like, 2, I think. I think 2 is a good rating for this boss Sire. But Mole is going to be a 1. But hope you guys enjoyed this guide. Let me know down below how you guys feel about this setup and how I organized it, what I could do different. And make sure you guys thumbs up and sub if you haven't. And I hope you guys all have a great night. Thanks.